Hello folks! Welcome to the PolyChampions YouTube! This is a replay review of a 1v1 tiny map Cymanti game. Reaper, a bullet champion, shows us how to position your hexapods and win, even after losing to Shaman. Let's watch the replay.
Alrighty, my name is Reaper. I'm currently on Team Kraken. Woohoo, go Kraken. I've been playing on PolyChamps for it's probably close to a year now, actually. I think we had an interesting game here. I am the green player. I'm a Cymanti on the right-hand side, and Neto is the orange Cymanti. So I see my spawn. I see I have two fungi. I have my shaman. I see I have quite a few mountains, and I'm not a huge fan of this, honestly. I'm like, I don't know, climbing. I'm not a particularly fan of it. I do end up having to skip turn 0, do the rules, but yeah. So I go ahead and boost my warrior, and I end up finding this first village. I was debating actually whether on leaning more towards the edge, maybe with my shaman, maybe move my shaman north of where it is now, and then have my warrior go towards the edge more where their edge village is. But I decided to go straight for the center. Because center control is always just nice to have. You can most of the time control the flow of the game. I have to get the second fungi, and I go risky here, and so I decided to go for the second fungi here. Yeah, because I'm thinking, well, I can go hexapods next turn, and I decided to be risky with my shaman. Yeah, but we see Neto here. Neto goes for the 2 warrior, and has them both boosted, going aggressive on the expansion route. And so seems like Neto doesn't find a village, but they do find a mountain ruin. And they do get that second fungi, just like as I did, because we're both preparing to go, get those hexapods, because man, the boosted hexapods, they're deadly. And so obviously that fungi ends up giving me resources on my capital here, and I'm able to get my first hexapod. The downside with moving my shaman away and going for an aggressive expansion with my shaman is, well, number one, I am risking my shaman, but number two, I also don't get to boost my my first hexapod, which isn't ideal, because then it can't just one shot a warrior. But I do end up finding that village down there in the south, so I am very lucky. It was a little weird. I didn't feel comfortable with that at first, but I found that village and I was like, I'm just gonna go for it. So we see, so Neto obviously, obviously he's getting the stars, and looks like Neto meets me and sieges my first village, which I was not really thrilled about. I was kind of panicking. I'm not going to lie. And we can see here that Neto ends up getting a hexapod on their capital.
Yep.
And they end up boosting it. So it is in range of my shaman that is on that village, which I have no idea about. And I obviously, with this being said, I don't have my shaman close to my capital, which results in me losing my second city immediately. So I'm kind of put on the back foot here from the get-go. So I'm like, all right, well, I just need to like maybe spam hexapods and try and maybe get that city back. I saw the West Warrior come. It looked like it came from the west here. So I'm thinking, oh well, they're in the west. So I'm like, okay, well, I like my shaman's fine down here.
Yeah.
That clearly wasn't the case, and we'll see that very very soon. I end up getting another hexapod, and I do get the fungi down in my C2 because I do want to maybe. I'm looking at potentially getting an explorer, maybe a workshop. I'm not quite sure yet, but an explorer here could be useful just to see what exactly my opponent is doing, because the surprise siege definitely caught me way off guard. Oh, and Neto goes for this ruin here, but
He
as a
got
result ends up
climbing.
finding something.
He got
Yeah, Neto got
climbing
climbing.
for the ruin, which makes sense, and then finds your
hmm
shaman. Woo!
Yep, the gamble not only paid off, they're going to maybe get the room, but they also found my shaman. And of course, when you find a shaman with Cymanti, well, of course you take it. And it looks like Neto is just sitting on that village. They do capture that center village that I was hoping to hold, but that surprise siege, really got me.
I have to
And
say,
Neto,
this is looking really bad for you right now.
yeah, no, I know. I was like, wow, how am I gonna come back from this? Like, this is absolutely awful. Like, I'm a sad little puppy in the corner. Like, I can't really do much here. Uh, I got. Let's see, what units do I have real quick? I got a 1 HP hexapod and a 5 HP hexapod. That's all I got to my name. I'm not doing too great.
You are a sad little
Uh,
spider in the corner.
yeah. So of course Neto, obviously is keeping up the hexapod production. Uh, and I still have no idea that Neto's capital is right there. So I have like I'm like, oh well, maybe I could train something there, but so yeah, but I do end up getting an explorer here, which does reveal a lot of information to me. Luckily, it's a very very good explorer. Shows me a lot about maybe where they're possibly going to be going, um, you know uh, where their capital is and where their shaman is, which is very of course I was considering maybe like I kill this 2 HP warrior, but I figured well I probably need this village a little bit more, so I decided to use my 1 HP hexpod to go get that village up there. Um, of course I do like unsiege that south village because yeah I can't be losing that now too. I mean I've already lost that
Yeah.
center village. Um, And so, I mean, obviously with that boosted hexapod there, I won't be training a hexapod there anytime soon. Um, so I'll have to go for a warrior, and I think I was just gonna. My idea was, well, maybe I'll just like kind of store up some hexapods near my capital, and maybe do like a grand assault, and maybe I'll get back that center city at some point. But it's not looking too great right now. Um, And Neto ends up just, exploring, finding the other two ruins. And it looks like Neto can for sure get two, potentially get three if I ever do lose hold of my South Village there. But Neto's has a very, very tight grasp on this position. Yeah, I know. I said it earlier in the game. I'm not a huge fan of climbing, but I was like, well, um, if they do want to knock me off this ruin, right, they have to use two of their boosted hexapods. Um, so I figured, well, I thought, well, I might as well go for it. Maybe it'll give me something useful. Maybe like a vet sword or stars, or I mean, anything at this point would be fantastic. I need everything and anything I can get. So I end up going for this like little risky climbing play. And I start kind of positioning some of my units up in the north here because I want to try and make sure to limit Neto's expansion because I don't want them, getting, the entire rest of the map because then I just, lose off of them being, out eco and out units. So I decided to maybe switch up my play and maybe try and play to deny them the ruin up here because I don't need them, getting any more techs or anything, and I certainly don't need them like throwing a centipede into my position by getting like a population room or something. So, um, and it looks like Neto, has vision on my capital here and goes for a risky maybe snipe on my capital, but
Your capital is
I know.
empty. Yeah.
Yeah, I leave my capital empty because like I said, I'm at a disadvantage. I know these boosted hexapods can move 3 tiles away. So I end up having to, I position my units, 1 tile away, making sure they cannot get sniped. And also if I were to train something here, they would be able to siege. So I was playing very, very carefully. And
Yep.
as a result, I do end up being able to kill one of Neto's boosted hexapods. So it does work out. So. Yeah, it looks like Neto gets hunting, which I saw them upgrading the center village, and I was actually very perplexed by getting hunting. I was thinking, okay, well maybe they're getting close to like maybe they're gonna like border growth into a centipede down here, like maybe they're gonna get forestry, but I can kind of understand it now though, because they had maxed units in the city. You know, they only had 2 slots, and so now with upgrading, they do have an additional spot. Um, so and they do get to see basically the entire rest of the map from that explorer. And it looks like I end up getting a star ruin.
Nice. Very nice.
Very nice. Yeah, so very happy to see that.
That's
I'm like, whew,
fortunate. Yeah.
finally a break in
Yeah.
this position. Um, and so I can kind of be a little aggressive here. I can kill this 2 HP warrior over here. I can kill this boosted hexapod. Can also kill that 10 HP warrior. I think in which I kind of go a little aggressive here. But more importantly, um, I realized that down here in the south that Neto did not train a hexapod or anything defending their capital.
Oh.
Um,
And you have
and so I
you have
take
two
this opportunity.
hexapods right there.
I take this opportunity to go ahead and train a hexapod on the South City, threatening Neto's shaman.
Yeah.
Um, you know, otherwise, you know, it just gets killed. So, and I'm like, okay, well, maybe I can make an aggressive play, you know, on their capital now, because it looks like they won't be able to train anything in their capital without it being sieged. So, um, I do end up getting double fungi up top just because I do have extra stars, and I figured, you know, workshop, you know, it'd be worth it. Looks like Neto, you know, does end up getting that West Village. They do also unsiege in the center, but they are trying to move their units, their hexapod back to the capital because they know that their capital is very, very weak currently. And so uh,
Oh, he trained a
Neto
hexapod there.
trains a hexapod, even though they have vision um, of that I have a hexapod, and I also have a warrior there as well. So very perplexed by this move. I'm not quite sure what Neto was thinking, but yeah, no. And so I end up getting, you know, a free siege on the capital here. Um,
Yeah.
but I decide not to actually siege it,
Right.
and by moving my hexapod off this capital and moving it down here, I guarantee that I can kill Neto's shaman next turn.
This is like a
Because it's
move in
wherever.
chess, right? This is like a check.
Mhm.
You're putting him in check.
Yeah, basically wherever you know another shaman moves, it's a goner, and I guarantee that you know by moving it off and not sieging. You know, I was very happy to find this move as well because I was like, well, finally, it's a shamanless game. I can you know finally maybe you know get something going. Um, and I'm still going to be aggressive, obviously, towards the capital, trying to you know isolate the capital as much as possible. You know, be very aggressive. And I am still being kind of aggressive up in the north as well. You know, killing units and still training lots more hexapods. Um, and Neto, you know, has to play defensively here, and they know that their shaman's gone, so they get. I'm not quite sure why they didn't boost and then kill the warrior here. Um,
Yeah, interesting.
uh, yeah, not quite sure what was happening there, but they do hit my warrior. They do train a warrior on their
Yeah.
capital, but they know their shaman is pretty much dead. Um, and so, and I'm just kind of you know training units,
And
and it
then,
looks like Neto resigns here
yeah.
because I kind of realized that the fate. I can kill the shaman and then hit with the hexpot and siege with the 10 HP warrior. And Neto can't unsiege because the only thing that they have is a 1 HP hexapod, which isn't going to kill a 10 HP warrior, and it doesn't look like they have any other units nearby. So yeah, and that was the game. So I took a really aggressive expansion with my shaman, and it ended up biting me by you know Neto obviously sniping my shaman super early, but I was able to kind of make an aggressive push for the capital at the end, and it ended up paying off, and I won the game.
I
Um,
think you redeemed
so
yourself by getting climbing, and then you got stars from the ruin, and Neto
yeah.
made those mistakes with where he positioned his shaman.
A major thing that Neto did here that stole the game away from them was that, I mean, they got my C2 really early, which is great and everything. Your capital is, like the heart of everything. If you can't really defend your capital, well, then basically like, your king, right? Like as you said in chess, if you don't defend your king, well, then you're going to get checkmated. And that's kind of what happened here. Neto kind of moved all of their pieces slash, units, over into the north and left their capital, very vulnerable. As a result, they ended up getting, checkmated or, their capital being stolen.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it was a very interesting game.
Really
I enjoyed this game
interesting.
a lot.
Yeah. Really interesting to go through it. Thanks so much.
Yeah, no problem.
Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. It helps us a lot. You can find a link to the live broadcast of this game from the Bullet Tournament and a link to the game replay in the description. Join the PolyChampions Discord. Get on a team. The link to the Discord server is also in the description. Take care. See you on the next one.